Hey, it's me, Charlie, and welcome back to my channel. If you've never seen my content before, relax. I'm not a content creator. I just like to yap a lot about the movies and the shows that I'm currently watching. And at the moment, it's Game of Thrones, okay? Still giving my life to Game of Thrones. Today, I will be doing my season 5 wrap-up of Game of Thrones. This has been one hell of a season. This season has been stressful, heartbreaking, wild, crazy, confusing, upsetting, disappointing, downright, what the fuck? Okay, so I think I'm gonna do it the same exact way that I did my last season wrap up, which was season 4. And I like the way I did it when I did like King's Landing, the North, what's going on at the Wall, what's going on with Daenerys, and everything else in between, because there's so many characters and so many storylines for me to keep up with that's the easiest way for me to keep track of what I'm talking about. Let's jump into it. If you've never seen my content before, I always got my notes. And of course, I got my notes. And let's just start it off strong and just jump straight into King's Landing. What's going on in King's Landing in this season? Basically, what's happening is Cersei has allowed this freaking cult to run amok, to go crazy. Because, I don't know. I just want to say that I only watch the episodes for the most part one time. Sometimes I may repeat the episodes, but other than that, I watch the episodes one time and then I do my episode wrap up and then I do my season wrap up. And let me say, this is just off of first watch. I don't know all the deep dives because I feel like you don't really fully understand the show until you watch it 18, 19, 20 times. So whenever I do my wrap-ups, it's all based off of my first watch. Tywin is dead. Tyrion got rid of him last season. Okay. So the season is basically Tywin is dead and now everybody's gone crazy. I now realize that he was the one who kept the most order in King's Landing. And without him, King's Landing is going crazy. Tommen is a scaredy cat and he's a horrible king. Cersei's is still annoying. Marjorie is so power hungry. Like, she just want to be queen. But what else I got to say about her? That was about it. Damn, is she really power hungry? I know her family is, specifically her grandma. And I know for sure her grandma was the one who set up Joffrey and got Joffrey poisoned. Jaime is just there. He's not even in King's Landing this season. He is off at Dorne. That's where I think he's at. Trying to collect their daughter, his niece, Marcella. And Tyrion has escaped. So he not even here this season. In King's Landing, they have let, specifically Cersei's, have given so much power to this daggone cult. They are going crazy. They are shaming people. Shame. They shaming people. People doing atonements. Is that what it's called? People in locked in dungeons. The cult went so crazy that Cersei's herself got locked up by the cult. Okay, let me run down the list. Tommen, he ain't got no backbone. He is the absolute worst king. So sweet, seems to be the only Lannister outside of Tyrion who has a heart, who's kind of sweet. But that's not great when you're trying to be a king, because they, right off the back, when Cersei gave too much power to that high priest guy and to the daggone cult, which is supposed to be religious, but a cult, they lock up Marjorie and her brother, because Marjorie's brother likes to dip with men. Shout out to him. You know, love a good LGBT moment. LGBTQIA+. A lot of additional letters. But secretly. So he's secretly homosexual. He be dipping with people all over the kingdom. Marjorie knows about it because she's not surprised, because he used to sleep with her ex-husband, her first husband. Well, her first technically husband, because they never consummate. I forget this word every single time. They never slept together. So, which was Renly Baratheon. And then she was wed to Joffrey, but they never consummated the wedding either. So now she's on her third husband, which is Tommen, who she did consummate. So she's officially married to him and she is a queen. But he is a coward. So her and her brother then got locked up. This is my thing. Cersei's whole thing about going after them with the cult and giving the cult that whole power just seems like she was just trying to basically get rid of Marjorie, and it ended up backfiring on her, because the cult, I guess they listened to secrets, because after they had got the Reverend God that was over top, I don't know who these people are. The cult basically is just going around and attacking people and making them repent for their sins based off of rumors they heard, which is usually true, but rumors that they heard or things that they do not believe in. And actually the one who's actually under the like spell or part of the cult, or I swear it is the one that Cersei was dipping with in season 1, who I think is her cousin. I might be wrong. So much be going on in the show, I literally be forgetting all the time, because the cult found out that only thing that she did admit to, she did cheat on her husband, which was Robert Baratheon, but he passed. The rumor is that she sleeps with her brother, her twin brother, and I think, which is Jaime, and I think they might know the rumor that the kids aren't actually Earth, but she doesn't actually admit to that. So when they locked Cersei's away, I wasn't mad at them. I was like, go ahead, lock her away. I don't like Cersei, so to see her being tortured doesn't bother me. Now, I will say this. her atonement, when they walked her from that daggone church, basically her walk of shame back to the castle, I actually kind of felt bad for Cersei. That was the only time I kind of felt a little bit bad for Cersei, especially when the man had like pulled himself and revealed himself in front of her and they were like spitting on her and throwing all kinds of stuff at her. I felt bad for her, but then I was just like, Cersei, you did this. You gave them that power. So I mean, I feel bad for you, but not like crazy bad. So basically, all that's happening in King's Landing is this daggone cult is just running things. And Jaime's off trying to save Myrcella this season because Myrcella is still off in Dorne because remember seasons ago, Cersei had sent her off away to be married or whatever. So Cersei is like, bring her back because basically Joffrey is gone and she feels like she has lost Tommen to marriage, which Marjorie, but like girl. Jaime goes on a mission to go down there and basically break her out. This is the part that I thoroughly enjoyed and I wasn't upset at it. Now, do I think that Myrcella was a casualty? Absolutely. Casualty? Absolutely. All is fair in love and war. You, Cersei, to battle Tyrion in his trial by combat, Oberyn, who is the brother to the king of Dorne, where Myrcella is at, he ended up losing his life and getting his head squeezed like a grape because the mountain offed him. Okay, and he was trying to avenge his sister's death and her kids, who the mountain had was the one who kept. Blah, 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 all of that other kind of stuff. His wife was there, saw it happen in front of him. His wife and their daughters wants to avenge him, and his brother is a coward and don't want to. So they at first was trying to, I guess, kidnap or kill Myrcella, and they couldn't succeed with that because Oberyn's brother, who was the king, stopped them. And guess what they did? And I wasn't mad at it. Poisoned her. Felt bad for Myrcella, but like, all is fair in love and war. Sorry. I also think it's weird that the kids all know, except for Joffrey. I think Joffrey knew and he just didn't want to admit to it. But Joffrey was crazy. I don't think Tommen know. But know that Jaime is actually their father, which is so weird. Like, it's just so creepy. Like, oh, I will never get over that. Like, Cersei, you like did with your brother. And that's why I don't feel bad for her. So everything that happened in King's Landing this season, blame it on Cersei's. Blame everything on Cersei's. Blame Myrcella being off on Cersei's because technically, if she hadn't pursued Tyrion so hard as being the person who off Joffrey, like a domino effect, she wouldn't have landed where she ended up landing at, and also Myrcella wouldn't end up being poisoned. I ain't feel bad for them. And that's basically what was happening in King's Landing this season. On to the next, the North. Oh my god, I feel like some of the most exciting was happening in like the North and beyond the wall or at the wall this season. Sansa basically being sold by Littlefinger, who I do not like, still can't stand, and I can't wait till Littlefinger gets his, to the Boltons to marry Ramsay. Not only did you send that girl back to the North where her family no longer resides because her family is either A, spread out, or B, dead. She is at Winterfell where the people who turned on her father turned on her mom and her brother, because so many people have been turned on. The Boltons, because Lord Bolton was the one who put the knife in Rob's heart. Now she's married to the son, who is Ramsay. And y'all know how I feel about Ramsay. He's a coward and I just can't stand him. He does too much. He tries too hard. But this season, I never really felt too much about what Ramsay was doing to Theon because I didn't feel bad for Theon. I still don't feel bad for Theon. But what he did to Sansa actually kind of made me not want to watch the show. I had to take a break because it was just too much. Like, it felt like that whole scene was not necessary and it bothered me to my soul. Forcing Theon to watch him assault Sansa, and the way he's abusing Sansa, I just don't understand it. Like, I don't know. I don't get why Ramsay's doing what he's doing to her. Does that make sense? Because, like, he doesn't do that to the girl he was just dipping. I don't understand why. But then I also remember the things he was doing to those other girls, where he had, like, the dogs chasing them down and eating them alive, I think. I don't know. Just Ramsay just be doing anything. Theon, of course, is still a coward. He does one good thing this whole season, and I think people think I'm supposed to forgive Theon for that. No, about time. And my whole issue was when Sansa basically was like, I have friends out in the city. When the older lady comes her and like, hey, if you need anything, take this candle, go to the highest tower, light it, and we'll come help you. She told Theon, hey, I got help, because she realized that Theon was the only person there, even though she had knew what Theon had did to the North, because remember, he attacked and all of that kind of stuff, turned on Rob. That's the only person that she had on her side, and that's all she could go to. And he snitched on her. He's such a coward and so scared of Ramsay that he went and told Ramsay about the lady with the candle. Ramsay took her outside, and that lady was strung up there. And it's all because Theon is a coward. But Theon eventually stops being a coward when he, I guess, comes in and saves the day, pushed the girl, crazy girl, over the side, off the side of the off the tower. They jump and escape. Girl, so much was happening. Again, I don't give Theon too much brownie points for that because he's still Theon. He's still a coward. Theon gonna have to do a lot more for me to even think of giving him a little bit of credit. Right now, this is the much credit I give him. You see my fingers? They still touching. For him to get this, you know what Theon would have to do? Exactly. Back to Ramsay and his annoyance. So Ramsay just irks my soul. Ramsay is power hungry, and I know he's upset because his father potentially got a new heir on the way, could possibly be a boy. His whole claim to the throne is basically because Lord Bolton made him officially a Bolton, and he technically is his only heir right now, that he will get the North when, you know, he is in succession. In the line of succession, girl, I be trying to use words that I know I'm not supposed to use. In the line of succession to get the North. Bam. So he a little worried because his mother-in-law, Lord Bolton's new wife, is pregnant. Back to Littlefinger for 2 seconds. Littlefinger irritates me so bad because all he does is play with people. All he is finesse. He's a con artist, okay? He's a hood swindler. What am I trying to say? He be playing behind everybody back, and I don't know who he's loyal to because he's not loyal to anybody, okay? But to sell Sansa off to the Boltons was like the most trifling thing he's done so far. It just irritates. Before I officially move on to what's going on at the Wall, let me basically go back to Stannis because that's between the Wall and the North. Stannis has decided to go around back and come down through the Wall, the North, to get to King's Landing so he can finally get his crown. Okay, I wasn't mad at that at first, because that's kind of how the last season wrapped off or ended off at. But my whole issue with that was once he had offed Mance Rayder, I was over Stannis. Because why did you off the King Beyond the Wall? The Wildlings was never going to help you. And you needed help from the Wildlings because what it ended up showing in the end, your men wasn't used to the cold. And to fight the North, you have to be able to operate in the cold, in which they wasn't able to. And that's why he ended up the way he did. But beyond that, his will and his want to become king was so overtaking. What am I trying to say? So dire. What am I trying to say? His want to be king was so much that he literally sacrificed his daughter. Sacrificing Princess Shireen. I'm so sorry. The little girl, his daughter. If I said the wrong name, it's not that I'm trying to be disrespectful because I just can't remember everybody's name. Sacrificing his daughter. Let me go to that. I knew something was up when he sent, I can't remember his name. Tribe. And he sent, why am I want to say Sir Jorah Mormont? That's not who that is. That's who down there with Daenerys. Try to look through my notes. I can't think of it. When he sent his hand, the guy that is his hand, I'm going to show a picture of him. Bam. He sent him back to the North to tell Jon that he needs to supply his king. Jon recognizes him as the true heir and the true king. And I knew something was up when he sent him away because I'm like, something don't seem right. What y'all already do with this girl? Now, like they had did with Robert Baratheon, his brother, the old king that had passed, what they did with his bastard was they needed blood from him. So they used the leeches, got the blood from him, and did some type of like witchcraft. That's what I thought they was going to do with Shireen. They burnt her alive. Stannis bothered me the most with that, and this is why I don't get down with that Red Witch. Stannis bothered me the most with that because although I knew he was willing to do anything to get his crown, sacrificing his daughter in that way was not something I thought he would do. Because the mother, who was out of her mind, never really showed any type of affection or care towards the little girl, except in her very last moments. I wasn't surprised that she went along with it. But Stannis to go along with, to straight up burn her, that bothered me. After that, nothing good came to him. It was all downhill from that. I'm talking about, it looked like it was the very next day, everything went womp, 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 downhill. And I didn't feel bad because I was down for Stannis to get his crown that whole time up until he did what he did, which was sacrificing his daughter. Yeah, that's when I call it. That's when I'm like, oh no, we can go ahead. I'm over him. Bye. Bye, 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 bye. Hearing that little girl scream, the mother running up there at the last moment, you are a coward. You were okay with everything leading up to at that point. Talking about Stannis' wife. She was okay with everything doing with the daughter up until that point. I mean, she gave the daughter her butt to kiss at every chance she possibly could. Was never affection, never a loving mother, nothing. And now at the very end, when you're sacrificing her and you see this girl up there burning alive, now you want to step in. I mean, step in if that's what you call it, or try to, because she ain't do nothing. So the very next day, when she ultimately, how do I say this in a very caring way, unalived herself. Unaliving herself wasn't surprising. Let that guilt eat you alive. Do I condone that? I think that that's your life and that's what you choose to do it. who am I to tell you that you should still stay and be miserable in a place that you don't want to be in? With that being said, guilt ate her alive, and I'm glad it did. Because finally feel something towards your daughter. Because this whole time you haven't. When Stannis saw her up there, he didn't care. I mean, he did to a certain extent. He still continued to march on to try to go overthrow the North. Even though he didn't have the power, he didn't have the manning, and he didn't have the horses or the food. He still thought he was going to go and overthrow the North and go to where he was going to go? Winterfell. And what happened? He got to Winterfell, and Renly and them put belt to butt cheeks quickly. Ended that like this. And you know what the most satisfying part about this? Is that Brienne was the one to off Stannis. I was so happy that Brienne was the one who got to off Stannis and finally got to avenge Renly Baratheon's death. I just spit. I was so happy. I thoroughly enjoy Brienne. I think she's one of the best characters on there. She's the most loyal person on this entire show. Her loyalty to Renly, this dates back to like season 2. And then her loyalty to Catelyn after that, I love it. Because she has not stopped watching over those girls. I love how she stood by Sansa no matter what. And I really enjoyed that. Red Witch leaving, doing that whole debacle, it seems like she now feels bad because she feel like her powers or whatever it is, that witchcraft that she do. Hey, mama, she the one who gave birth to a demon out her coochie. Girl, why are you feeling bad? You the one who did this. What is it called when you get power over top of somebody? When you like... I'm thinking of it. Never got it. Oh, well. Basically, she finessed and convinced them that she knew better and that this was the way to go about things. And she actually, in the end, ruined everything. So, I can't stand her. She irritates me. What's going on at the wall this season? So much is going on at the wall. Actually, the wall has been the most interesting in the last 2 seasons for real to me. Jon Snow. Because now I'm remembering. And Jon Snow's death has been the absolute hardest out of the show. That's the reason why I had to take a break, because before I get to his death, Jon Snow is a great leader. Jon Snow was a great leader. I think he did amazing as the Lord Commander. I think his heart was in the right place. I completely understood every decision that he made, and to a certain extent, I stood next to all of them except for one. He put Mance Rayder out of his misery when Stannis was burning him alive. I was so happy. Honorable guy. When he was like, we need to go beyond the wall. We need to help these people. I know for years and for decades and for thousands of years, honestly, men of the Night's Watch and the Wildlings have battled each other. He finally realized that they're not our enemy. What is out there with them is our enemy. And all they really want is to get beyond the wall so they can have protection and be safe. So when he finally convinces the Night's Watch to, we're going to let them through, and they go up there to try to convince the Wildlings, like, hey, we want peace. We just want to help y'all. And the freaking battle between them and the White Walkers break out. It was crazy. These people, I realized that, like, for real, the army of the dead is massive. Even though it's like 100,000 wildlings out there, like, they were not going to be able to compete, because when one of them would get off, they would just turn into a White Walker. So their army was growing rapidly. Honestly, also, I realized there either one actual king over top of the dead, and then there's 4 like main men. I don't know what was going on, but it was a crazy battle. Also, to see the giant walk off down into the water, he was so big, was so crazy. But like, that battle was crazy. And I'm gonna also say about this is my least favorite battle, though. I'm not too fan of zombies. I'm not a zombie type of person. So when I was watching them, I was seeing zombies, so I wasn't as like into it. But it was a great battle, though. And it also let Jon know, like, no, this is real up here. You need to get these people down to safety. He doesn't get many of them because he couldn't convince them. So the people that he did get through down there, Night's Watch felt some type of way. The only decision that I was against Jon on, but I completely understand why he did, was to basically try to convince that little boy, the one whose parents was offed and eaten by the wildlings who had the scars on their face in season 4, my bad. Season 4, what that little boy had endured, I just don't think it was worth trying to convince him on why you were trying to let the wildlings do and why you should protect them. Because in all actuality, all he sees them as enemies, and I'm not mad at that because they just did to my family. There's no convincing me. That's why in the end, when I knew something was up, when they came and got Jon, I was like, something don't seem right. This seemed like a setup. And when they got out there and they all like had him at the traitor sign, and then everybody stabbed Jon, I was very, 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 very disappointed in everybody except for that little boy, because Ali, I think his name is. I understand. If something was to happen to my parents and you are now trying to make me make peace or be okay with helping the people who did it or the people who I assume that they come from, I absolutely would be against it. I would never be for it. So he's the only person where I'm like, I completely understand his stance and why he feels the way he feels and why. And ultimately, in the ending, it seems like he was the one who delivered the fatal stabbing to John. I'm just upset that it was John. Like, John was just getting started, and for this to happen to him hurts the most. It really do show me, like, do not get attached to anybody. Long live Jon Snow. Too sad. What's going on with Daenerys? I'll be honest, y'all. I don't care. Watch Daenerys' story. Even the little action scenes that happen out there, kind of boring. But I'm gonna go over certain things. I don't think she's a great leader. She's too nice. She's too kind. And when I think she should be nice and should be kind, she don't be. And when I think she should be a lot more stern about things, she don't be. I think she's doing a conflict of interest by sleeping with that man. I completely understanding her dismissing Sir Jorah Mormont, but like, girl, that man has got you to where you are. See, I op in the beginning, absolutely. Is he to ever be 100% trusted again? No. But he literally got you to where you are. So, no. And also, I don't like how she don't use her dragons. Thank God that one dragon who was like going batch crazy and couldn't be tamed at the moment. Thank God he was still out and about, because if he was locked away, she wouldn't have been able to be helped when she was at the big ceremony, I don't know, in the Coliseum. I don't know where she was at. She wouldn't have been saved. Sons of the Harpy, Sons of the Happy, Sons of the Happy Meal. Ew. I don't want no Happy Meal. Our burger sounds good though. Sons of the Happy of the Harpy was coming to attack her, and they had been running amok all season. So it wasn't for her one dragon who don't listen, she would have been done for right then and there. I'm glad that she's finally using her dragons. Like, girl, do something with them dragons. I don't know, her storyline is kind of and also the Jorah Mormont, his love for her is unconditional, because he did whatever just to get back down there with her. He kidnapped Tyrion to use him as his like trade. Fought several times. Like, dang, he in love with Daenerys. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. And lastly, kind of gonna combine these two, Arya and Bran's. I am both confused. Bran has a special power. I'm still confused as to what's going on there, because he's made to be on the wall to the man in the tree with the creepy little people. I don't know what's going on. Arya, she now blind because man with no name and no face, and with the faces with no face, but it got several faces, he done took our eyesight. It's interesting. I'm just confused. I don't know what's going on with either one of them. I'm gonna keep watching so I can later figure out what's going on, but this is just based off my first initial watch. Not more, not less. Excited to start season 6 because I need to see where this is going. I'm not really excited to start season 6 because I don't want to see a season without Jon. But besides that, I'm ready to get it started. So come back for season 6 wrap up when I'm done with that. Peace. Bye.